Welcome in, guys, for another episode of DynastyVille, brought to you by the Ballsville game, where we combine poker and fantasy football, which creates big payouts with great odds. So I'm here with my co-host here, JoJo. What's going on?
Just ready to bring the energy this time, man. I feel like we were a little tired last episode, so I apologize. So hopefully the energy comes out in this episode. And we made a couple tweaks, right, Connor, for this one. So hopefully you guys like the new kind of like little format that Connor actually really put together. We talked about it pre-show, and hope you guys enjoy. So stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wanted to brighten up just a little bit. I know I mention it at the end of every episode that we don't want this to be a cookie cutter. We don't want it to be the same every time. But nobody's really commented, much. We would like that to change. We'd like some questions to throw in there to be able to answer about these leads, about just Dynasty in general. We'll start shifting a little bit more towards like actual Dynasty focus and away from these leads the closer we get to the seasons. We'll still put out these tutorials or whatever you want to call them about these leads.
League recap.
Yeah, recaps. Yeah, we'll still put them out. We want to make sure we hit every single league, but there is 32 of them. They take about an hour a piece or so. We would like that, to bring down just a little bit, but we want to talk about every single league. We want, if you're only in one league, we want your name to be mentioned at least once. We want you to, want to be able to see you and, talk about your team. So we're going to do something just a little bit different. We'll just go ahead and kick it off like we normally have. Here we got what we have on this episode. It says next time. This is obviously the end of the last episode we have. We have Gandalf and we have Smaug. Smaug.
I don't know. They say it weird on the Hobbit or the what was it? God, I think it's just the Hobbit. Yeah.
No, Smaug. Lord of Rings. Yeah, Lord of Rings. So, but yeah, so these are the leads we're going to get into. These are obviously our 3 out of 16 leads. We have the Dragon, and we have the Hero and Gandalf. So we'll first talk about the Dragon, which is Smaug. Pretty cool character there. This is one of our older. Obviously, the first 4 of these leads of the Dragons were all 2 years older. Then we introduced more last year, and then we had a whole new thing of the heroes this year. So we'll look at the startup here. I'll actually see if I can hide our faces here, just so we can take a little bit closer look at this.
QB run, man.
Yeah. So he had Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Burrow, Herbert, which is a little high in hindsight, but you never know. Jackson, Lawrence. And then what a steal these guys, at the 1-8, 1-9 got Chase and Jefferson. And then you obviously had a little bit of a faller in Justin Fields. Bijan was a great pick there. Looking back at it, McCaffrey obviously coming off, I believe this was coming off of his 101, season.
Yeah.
Lamb.
2023 was his best season, right?
Yeah, exactly. But then are there any other names that really catch your eye, either are really high or really low, or anything in between?
I'm just doing another quick scan here.
I know we mentioned some names that are on there last time. Like Nico Collins is still down there at 12. Sutton basically right beside him. Those names were already mentioned. Even Jaden Reed's a low, Baker Mayfield. But those are all names we mentioned. I just didn't know if you had other names that stand out to you.
Yeah,
There's one name that in particular that stands out to me pretty high. What about you? You see anything
on the high end?
Either way, whatever.
Well, I'm still just seeing Rashee Rice. That I know it with the situation right now, but still, I love that 10-10, getting that value. I still have to go back to that Jefferson and Chase, because the reason why it's because when you go into a startup and it's super flex, if you see this run of 7 quarterbacks that go off the board, you have to pivot at that point. You don't want to be on the end of a run, right? Even that Trevor Lawrence pick, it's like, you really want to look back at this draft a year or 2 from now and be like, I literally chose Trevor Lawrence over Jefferson and Chase. You know what I'm saying?
Or Justin Fields, like the Justin Fields.
Okay, even on the other end, even look at that.
That's still basically at the end of this run too, right? Like he wasn't, supposed to be up there really in the first round, even at this point of his career.
I'm big on I don't want to be on the end of a run. So it's like if I see that and it's like I'm not getting that tier, I got to go to the top of another tier. So kudos to Mateo and Fiery Cliff. But go ahead and say your name, because I'm not picking up on it.
No, yeah, there's a name I will mention, but the other half of that is the run of wide receivers. So you have Jefferson Chase, and then the guy at the end of that run, took another bad name, or not a bad name, but a guy that fell in Waddle. So, like he was at the end of that run too. So, it goes both ways, just at quarterbacks, but at receivers. But the name I wanted to mention, or one of the names I wanted to mention, was Dalvin Cook down there in the 10th, right before.
I didn't even see that. No, you're right. Yeah.
The other one was Jahan Dotson up there at the 6'10".
Yeah, it was in the middle of the last draft too. I remember mentioning Jahan Dotson. The other one is like Christian Watson too, in round 5, late 5. He had those. I think that was fresh off his rookie year, or this was going into his rookie year. 2023.
No, this was a little bit. This was after his this.
Yeah, so the first year after, so he was promising, right? But
21 or 20. But
yeah, small sample size from that, because it was the tail end with Rodgers and stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, so those are just some names. Obviously, you have other names like Derek Carr, who retired this year, but he had actually a decent year. And some other names. Sky Moore obviously had some hype going. I think that was going into his rookie year.
And guys, I think like the takeaway from analyzing a draft like this that's 2 years old is when you look at your drafts, if you've been in a dynasty league for a couple of years now and you go back to where it started, it's kind of the teaching moment is probably like, hey, next time I enter a startup for another dynasty, it's like it's a short outlook, but like at the end of the day too, we're trying to build for the first year and then some, but also things can change very dramatically year to year.
Yep.
And some of these guys that are fragile, it's like, do I really want to invest in that with high draft capital right away? And obviously the whole being on the tail end of runs. Those are things that we got to think about. That's all.
Yep. So just some names I want to mention that are either not with us or just taking over. Some orphans are
cool.
The dealer is back, is going to be an orphan, and Jimmy Wojo are both orphans. I don't know which teams they took over for. We can look at it a little bit later, but those two guys are new to this league that we'll see. But we'll go on to the league history. So last year, Jay Morris won in 2024, and then Bagney won in 2023. Both of these guys actually aren't even really near the top. Jay Morris is sitting right at the 6th spot in overall like standings. Doesn't look like Bagney is with the league anymore, so I don't know where his team actually is. But we'll look at where Jay Morris took Burrow and Devontae Smith. He actually had some good picks. Bagney's right here with Lamar Jackson and Anthony Richardson, and some pretty good names down below that for competing teams. But we'll look at our 2023 championship game with Bagney, Lamar, Josh Jacobs, James Conner. Pretty good overall score. Obviously, this is a couple of years ago now, but still some names that still produce. Anything stick out to you in this game, in this championship?
Just that whopping 307. I mean, that's a great. A good total. I mean, the average is probably pretty damn good week to week, and got some just big performances. That's what you need to win the title.
Yep. Yeah, just a good overall game. Obviously, Lamar really looks like the high point along with Derrick Henry.
Sure.
We'll move on to the 2024. This is only a week's total, but we still, I think we just had a week's total here. Jaden Daniels obviously popped off. Devontae Smith had a great game. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown's been a pretty big name in most of these championships that we've looked at. Jalen McMillan. Obviously, they just got announced that he'll be starting the year on IR, basically, or the stuff like that. So
yeah, you got a rough hit there, man. Kind of folded up like an accordion.
Any other names you want to mention on either side of this?
No, the whole Jalen McMillan thing, like from year to year, like I remember everyone was sipping that Kool-Aid. I don't have a lot of shares this year. I wasn't really buying into it, but he had an incredible run. Just that it's tough to sustain that kind of a run.
Yeah, definitely. So now we'll go into what happened just recently. Obviously, the dealer is back. Had the 101 in this league, which he's actually an orphan, like we mentioned. He took Genty. Our other orphan right here is Jimmy Wojo, who either he traded his first-round pick or somebody else, the previous owner traded his first-round pick. So any names stick out to you here in this draft?
I'm like falling in love with the late Emeka Ibuka, man. Like I think it's just coming into fruition that he can be this year's Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just the value.
The Henderson at the 104 is pretty early for I think this early in the offseason, but I like it now. I mean, obviously he took him a chance in front of Tet and Travis Hunter.
I think those three though can go interchangeable. I think anywhere from 2 to 5, you could put those in any order, in my opinion. So I'm not, maybe not too early. The Cam Ward is a little high, I think, especially early. So
yeah, this is still.
If you need a quarterback, again, I always say this: if you need a quarterback, I mean, and you got the first overall pick of the draft, real draft, I think it's not a bad selection either.
Yeah, it looks like Luke actually traded back to the 103 from the 102 to get Ward. So he must have been QB needy. But RJ Harvey's still at the 201 here. I think in the future couple of drafts, we'll see him, as high as like the 106 or so. So
the thing that sticks out like a sore thumb is Will Howard at 212.
Yeah. That one hurts there.
That's a little shocking from Ken to do that. I think, but you know what? To be fair to Ken, I think that selection probably was prompted when Rodgers was not being very cryptic and by coming back. So he definitely had a shot at becoming a starter, really, right? So I'm going to probably give him the olive branch there.
Yeah, the Kyle Williams went all the way to 304, which I think
great value.
And that's a couple of drafts you'll see.
Yeah,
still earlier than that.
Isaac Tesla, he doesn't get a lot of talk, but like Isaac Tesla, a 4th-round pick, and the way that the Lions are using him right now, I mean, it's only preseason, but dude, that's red zone target can be a real thing for him.
Yeah, definitely. We'll move on to some trades. This one doesn't have very many trades recently.
Dude,
there's a couple of them.
Shakir and Stevenson.
Yeah, that seems like a steal for me with Beckwith. I would love to get that 2027 side.
I do that in a heartbeat. Yeah, like you want Shakir and Stevenson, and you give me that every day that ends in Y.
Yeah, I agree. Luke here, he moves up from the 202, but sends Pacheco, Ferguson
for Emeka. Emeka's the 110.
Yeah, the 110, and he gets a couple picks next year. I like his side a little bit. Obviously, he's given up some production this year, but you don't know what the 202 I think was Jackson Dart. Yeah,
Jackson Dart. Okay.
So a pretty well-rounded deal there. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think Beckwith did a good job in both these trades, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do, because I mean, if Jackson Dart's really a thing, you got a quarterback like this year with Pacheco, more production. I mean, obviously, Emeka can be, like I said, you could be Brian Thomas, which would make it pretty much worth it. But I like the value that Beckwith got for now production and potentially a great starting quarterback. Maybe not great, but functional starting quarterback.
We'll move on to the power rankings here. We got Purdy, Lovely here at first. Bubblebee Tunas, which is Jay Morris here at second. Cat Daddy at third. Wise Guys fourth. We got our buddy Ken here in fifth. Jimmy Wojo, both of those 5 and 6 are both orphans. Luke MC here in seventh. Beckwith still in eighth, even though those two deals we liked. Badney here in ninth. And our Gier 13 here in 10th. Drew Bless 13 here in 11th. And then Adam C 1883 down here in 12th.
Well, I think the running Ballsville pod joke, or maybe not joke, but they call them Droobles. I think we did confirm it is Drew Bless, but they call him Droobles on the other pods. So shout out to Droobles.
We'll dig deeper into some of the teams here. We don't want to, take up too much of your time going through the same stuff we go through each time. But the Chase Gibbs, Brian Thomas is just, a wonderful 1 through 3 there. For Pretty Lovely. He still has his first. Nice little receiving
core. Pretty Lovely, my guy.
Nice receiving core there. Nice little stable at quarterback. His only running back, or actually his other running back to mention besides Gibbs, is Chuba Hubbard. But yeah, and he has my favorite tight end, not my favorite tight end, but one of my favorite tight ends, and Tyler Warren up there as well.
What's your percentage at on Tyler Warren shares here?
I think it's like 39, which is a little high for me.
I see you.
Bubblebee Tunas, obviously Jay Morris is a huge fan of the pod, huge friend of the pod, is in a bunch of leagues with us. So he has a nice stable at quarterback. Jaden Daniels, Stroud. He's actually first in quarterback, so he must have another one that's pretty good up there. He's not shown in the top 13 here, but Amon-Ra, Devon Achan. He has a pretty good team here. Could compete this year.
And he has my preferred rookie tight end on this one.
Yeah, Colson Loveland down there 12th. It looks like the keep cut trade consensus here is Tyler Warren's a little bit above Loveland at almost 5,000 for Tyler Warren at 450 or 4,500.
Yeah. On that note, I think it's also just the ADV cost in a lot of these drafts that's been going on too. Like Tyler Warren just tends to come off, and even at times at like tight end 4 or 5.
Yeah,
and I think because it's just like the ADP sleeper ADP, and I'm just like, man, like that's at his ceiling, I would say, right?
Yeah, possibly. Tight end 1 is going to be his ceiling. He's going to be.
I hear you. No, if I had 39% shares too, I'd be hoping he has outtakes Bowers and McBride.
Yeah, definitely. We got Cat Daddy here with a nice little stable at wide receiver here. Neighbors, Nakua, Rashee Rice, and Jordan Addison, who's suspended, but still a name worth mentioning. Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young at quarterback, and then 3 young, great running backs. I actually love this team. Hampton, Henderson, Chase Brown, and then LaPorta at tight end. So I love that team. I think that team, not only can compete this year just because of the name value, but is set up for the future, obviously, with Hampton and Henderson, and then Neighbors, Nakua, Nix. I mean, I love that team. What are your thoughts on that team?
His running back core is set up for the next 5 years. I mean, I'm bullish on that. I'll go on record on that too. Like, I think they're all very good. The only thing that's holding him back is health. I mean, Malik Neighbors only to him back. Puka has not finished a season yet. It's only been 2 years, but still. Rashee Rice got his troubles. He's got to avoid a lengthy suspension in the middle of your season, and then Jordan Addison starting out the year off. So those are just the only questions, man. Like I love the team overall on paper. It's just those are the main question marks for me.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll move on to 4th here as we take just a peek at these ratings. So this is an older league, as we saw last week's or last episode, that we had one team in one of the older leagues had a 99 and the next person had a 54 or something like that.
So weird.
This is pretty steady here. 99, 95, 93, all the way, 85, 81, 79. So all of these teams it's no top heaviness. It's pretty stable across the board here. Wise Guys with, I think, is Josh Allen still the 101? I think he is. It looks like actually he's below.
No, Chase is number 1.
Yeah, it looks like he's below Jamar Chase. So Josh Allen here for Wise Guys. Drake London, obviously. Just nice little team there as well.
Yeah, solid team.
Only James Cook to mention.
Only James Cook, he's in the top 12, yeah.
Anything else sticks out? Not really about his team. I like the Travis Hunter. I like the receiving core.
One note on Chris Olave, though, guys. I think, especially for this year, assuming they, a lot of people believe that they would upgrade their QB position, because I don't think their future QB is on this roster unless Chuck really balls out. But Olave, even this season, I think he's getting a lot of suppressed ADP attention or like draft attention where, like, guys, people can still produce on crappy squads. Like, again, they can manufacture touches, get things a little closer to the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to still get a ton of targets, even with subpar QB play. I mean, we still saw a great performance out of Malik Neighbors, and we know the consensus out on Daniel Jones last year, or even his career. So if you have any more drafts coming up, I wouldn't avoid Chris Olave simply because, and don't double count the QB play. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, good analysis there. So got Ken here in 5th, Genty, Jefferson, McConkey, Caleb Williams, McCarthy. Probably not a team that's going to compete right away, but seems to have some young guys. Obviously, Jefferson, you can count on for at least next 7 years or so, I'd say, if not more. Genty, obviously, same thing. McConkey, Caleb Williams, McCarthy, all young, and then some rookies or a rookie. Burden, Pearsall, second year. Judy and Downs aren't too terribly old. I think Judy's 27 or something like that, 26 maybe.
Yeah, right around there. I'd say this is the kind of squad that you would want, because you can literally just pull the trigger on when you want to contend and then make it happen. You know what I mean? Because you're set up. Like, you have the foundation. Now it's just like, okay, when do I want to pull the trigger and just go all in on it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you there. Jimmy Wojo here has Brock Bowers, Jalen Hurts. It's crazy that Brock Bowers on Keep Trade Cut is above Jalen Hurts, but
Wait, which one was that? I'm sorry.
Brock Bowers is above Jalen Hurts on Keep
Well, of
Trade
course,
Cut.
dude. That's the best tight end in the league. You know this.
Yeah, I know, but like in Superflex, I'm not sure I'm still taking Jalen Hurts well before I'm taking Brock Bowers, but
Brock Bowers is going to be Kelsey, bro, and even better. It's just what it is.
I would say that too if I had 79 shares of him. But Nico Collins, obviously, still great. Anyon, T. Higgins, George Pickens, nice little three wide receivers there.
Yeah,
Bucky
definitely.
and Brian Robinson. We'll see what Brian Robinson is, if he gets moved or if he's still on the roster.
I
Seems
think
to
he's
be
going to
that
get moved, and I think it's
that's
just
what
going
it
to like.
sounds like. So
Yeah, what do you if he goes to let's say he goes to Cincinnati?
yeah,
What does that do to Chase Brown? Does it really affect him, or is it more of like, okay, he probably may take some of the short yardage stuff away, but like
yeah,
all the targets are still his.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. I think it might take away like the touchdowns that
opportunity.
you're hoping for with Chase Brown, but not much besides that. Maybe your short third downs, but
Who's another
um,
team that needs a masher?
the only team that really comes to mind, but I don't know if they'll do
Miami.
it. Miami, maybe. I mean, I don't even know if Miami would do that. They're wanting to get different. I think they're in a different direction than getting a little bit aging
I just was
running back.
just the tight end, just the archetype of the RB. But yeah, you're right.
The name that the team that comes to mind that I would think would love to have a guy like Brian Robinson would be the Cowboys, but again, I don't know if they'll move him in division.
You
There,
think
so
you'd move the needle?
I think they would love to have a guy like Brian Robinson back there
Well,
with Jaden Blue, stretched out. Maybe have like a two, like obviously Brian Robinson would get majority of the carries, and then you can maybe work in.
if I see you on that, because if you're thinking that Jaden Blue is more kind of like maybe their direction, the focal point, then
Yep.
obviously the stop gaps of Miles
Yep.
Sanders and the corpse of Javonte Williams, then is
Yep.
really just not it. So yeah, I hear you on that.
Exactly. And then we'll go on to 7th through 9th. We got Luke MCA with a 77, Burrow, Lamb, and Buka, Cam Ward. He made some moves. Obviously, we saw a couple of first-round picks in 26, Waddle, and then some names.
Luke
Ayuk
McCaw.
and then, and then we have Beckwith, Drake May, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tet, Judkins. Pretty young team overall here. I would probably try to move off of Tua as much as you can right now. He's their 12th name on that list. And then Badney, another name we mentioned. He won in 23, I think. Has an aging team here with almost a 28-year-old age average. And then Lamar,
True.
Josh Jacobs, Henry, Terry.
He's entering the final
Fields.
stages of a win now. It's like you just kind of have things
Yeah.
break right for that veteran squad, and you can still be in contention though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably shop that first round pick, see what you can get out of it. But if you can't get, something to compete with, you might, shop like a Derrick Henry, try to get a younger running back or something like that.
That squad like Bagney though, like would you be shocked if he was in the semis and contending for a title?
No, not at all. I mean,
Exactly, right?
top
Yeah.
12. I mean, you can basically book a playoff run with that top 12. So.
Yeah, this 64, like I hope people are watching and not like saying like, oh, he's at the 9th. I mean, this is like baked in for future value and tradable value most likely with this algorithm and how they come up with this. So yeah, like he's definitely a contender still.
Yeah,
The things can
exactly.
break right.
And we'll move on to the lower seats here. Again, I don't think any of these teams are terrible. Mahomes, Taylor, RJ Harvey, Golden, Dak. That's a team pretty much in the middle. I think I don't love that team construction with those two rookies and then basically a bunch of older players. I'll try to break one way or the other. If you want to compete, you got to try to get what you can out of Harvey or Golden. Not really what you can, but try to shop them for some contending pieces. Or
Yeah, I'd say those are the perfect guys to shop for if they have a big week.
Yeah.
And then see what you can get. And then if you're also still out of it, then you trade guys like Tyreek Hill and Alvin Kamara for like the contenders to solidify their squad. And then you're just really just coming for a full rebuild that you want to build.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that team. Like, I think it can compete, but I would definitely be trying to move, Golden and a first for a AJ Brown or somebody like that. You know, somebody that's going to get you a lot of points this year. I'm not sure that deal can get done, but something along those lines. Drew Bless here with a 56, missing his first. Has Bijan, AJ Brown, Baker Mayfield. So that might be able to get done if you want to look at something like that, like a Golden or a first for AJ Brown, just because of the Drew Bless's team construction here. Doesn't look too powerful. Could compete, but definitely needs some pieces to pick up the slack. His best running back is Tony Pollard and Jalen Warren, which
he got Bijan.
Yeah, he has Bijan at the top. That's right. But yeah. Two QBs that are aging, in Mayfield and Geno, and then doesn't have his pick this year. So you might be able to move that off if Drew Bless is looking to, maybe rebuild just a little bit, build around Bijan and build around maybe, Say Flowers or somebody like that. So Adam C. here, 1883, the last team we'll mention, with a 54. He's traded his first. His team looks to be somewhat in the middle as well. Kyron, Kyler, Brees, Christian McCaffrey. He has a bunch of older pieces, but some guys I'd definitely be trying to move off of, like Brees Hall, Kyron Williams. I'll be trying to move off of both of those guys. Get you some picks, get you some assets for the future. A lot of those pieces you can move. With your team construction, I don't think you're going to be competing. You could, because obviously you have the Sutton, Mike Evans of the world that probably don't average 12 to 15 points. But I'd be scary because when you're aging, but your team isn't powerful like you want it to be, like a true contender. What are your thoughts on Adam C's team?
Yeah, I think like if Scott was in this league, then he would take Kyron Williams off your hands for sure. But Brees Hall, like I think he's a candidate that's been rumored, of course, for a couple months now. It seems like, because with this whole contingent RBBC, running back by committee in New York. But I mean, what team like he screams like he would be a star at, and it's the team with the star on the helmets. I think he's a Cowboy guy, in my opinion, if they ever wanted to move off of him. But
you're talking like the Cowboys actually make moves, but
I know. But at the end of the day, man, like this team is still kind of like what number 9 team Bagney was. If things break right, if Kyron still gets all the work, this is a run first team in New York. Kyler is still, he says he wants to run more. Jared Goff still be efficient. He's still a borderline QB1 to high end QB2. Mike Evans still gets his 1,000 yards, and Cortland Sutton does. I mean, this team is still there. I'm not ruling out Adam C's possibility to contend.
Yeah. So instead of going to our normal direction where we just basically repeat the same things, we talked about team 1, team 12, and just randomize that. We're just going to go straight into our prediction. Straight into the lead, trying to shorten it up just a little bit. So let's just hop into it. I actually have NR Greer 13 versus Purdy Lovely. So we'll take a look at those guys. Obviously, the 10th. This is the team I said I think can compete. I would try to ship Golden for the most part.
Oh wow!
In the first, and then the other team was Purdy Lovely, which you also have over here in first, which is a pretty high-powered team. Definitely needs some things to break the right way. But overall pretty solid team. And then your other team was Jimmy Wojo,
baby. Give him some love.
Take a look back at his team. He was over here in 6th. Obviously, you picked him because he has Brock Bowers.
That was just a part of it, man. But we both think Nico has the wide receiver 1 range of possibility. Jalen Hurts, obviously, you love him. George Pickens, I'm expecting the breakout coming this year, and then T. Higgins when he's on the field, man, it's just. He does work. Bucky's leading the charge. The question mark with Brian Robinson, but I feel like if he does get moved, he might get moved to a strong situation. And if he has the draft capital to make a move to solidify that running back position, so I think he can make some noise, man.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind that pick. Obviously, we both have Purdy Lovely there, who had the first overall rating, and then we have a couple, not bottom feeders, but competing teams that don't have a lot of youth. So
you chose a team that definitely assuming a lot of moves can be made, but but hey, we've seen weird things that happen. So it's anybody's game, and it's just got to stay involved and stay on this head on a swivel, so to speak, and makes the right moves.
Definitely. So we'll move on to our hero. which is Gandalf, which is a new lead that we just drafted.
Are we both in this league?
Yeah, we're both in this lead. So
Oh.
we didn't pull up the draft because we're going to do a little something different than we've done without, trying to repeat the same things. We'll just go right into basically the team ratings, and we'll look at the teams, and then we're actually going to try to create a trade for y'all in this league. We're both in this league, but we don't want to create a trade, although we might have something that we, share with y'all that we have in the, coming ranks of me and JoJo making a trade in this league. But
possibly.
We have Crows 24 here in first. I don't know who that is here in second. I think
let's call it that.
I think that's Scott, and I don't know.
The LAN left. I thought it was literally a whole thing with just no space in it.
Yeah, I think that's Scott. I think it has to be Scott, right? But I don't know who that is right there. Let me go look actually at the lead. So it
is Run the Hurry Up, though. I do have it here. It is Run the Hurry Up.
It is Run the Hurry Up. Okay, I thought so. He likes to create some weird names for his teams. The LA Fitness, I don't know. I'm assuming that's what it means. But he's in
Sloter, Min, my effing.
Obviously,
comment, Scott, you need to comment and tell us what the hell message that you were trying to write there, okay?
Yeah, honestly.
Please.
But JoJo is here in third, which I'm surprised to see because he's first in running backs, which is a very, very weird thing to see. Obviously, Scott is known for his QB takes, and he's in first in that. You Shall Not Pass here in fourth, which is Steb 20, actually. And then I'm in fifth with my first and wide receivers. We have Ken here in sixth, Artful Dodger in seventh, Jimbo's Bimbos in eighth. Another friend of the pod, Daniel, in ninth, Billy B in 10th, B Silver in 88 in 11th, and then
Mr.
a guy that likes to have that he's paid here in 12th. He's paid
Green
for
Canuck.
both weeks, but that's actually Greek Canuck.
Oh, Greek Canuck. I'm so dyslexic sometimes, guys. I'm sorry.
No, all good. So we'll actually take a look at these teams. We have JoJo's here at the end. This is actually a pretty top-heavy team in first, but it's really just based on the picks. He has Travion Henderson, Travis Hunter, and Mbuka, Tyler Warren, and then 5 first-round picks in 26, and then 2 in 27. So it's basically his team is just that high because of all the picks, all the potential he has from that, and then it's Xavier Worthy in 12th. Scott here. Obviously, his QBs that we mentioned, Josh Allen, Lamar, Bijan. So he has 3 first-round startup picks, basically, and then a bunch of middle-tier guys, and J.J. McCarthy, Rashee Rice, Luther Burden, Tyreek Hill, Higgins, Scattaboo, Kyle Williams. What do you think about the roster construction of Scott here with the 3 overall, basically the 3 first-round startup picks, and then just a bunch of fifth round startup picks and on JJ McCarthy, Rashee Rice, Burden, Tyreek Hill. What do you think?
This is the draft. I remember this draft specifically. He literally picked Lamar and Josh Allen. He made moves to get him back in the first round, that kind of thing. And then he even made another move to get Bijan Robinson in the first. So he literally mortgaged a lot of things for the future. I mean, he got quite a few picks here, but they're all kind of like they need to land. So he's just betting his boat literally on the top end of this draft. It's really a stars and scrubs build. It's definitely worked before because if they are the best players, they can save you in a lot of weeks. I'm not really one to do all that, but it's effective, and it's going to be kind of one of those things where you're like, I have to run to this juggernaut every week, or not every week, but when you come into playing Scott, you're like, yeah, I got to play the top 3 names in fantasy football here.
Yeah, and then we move on to your team. You have a unique roster and construction here too. Gibbs,
Bowers, a lot of firsts.
Ginty.
I sold off a lot of things here. Yeah, go ahead.
And then you have 5 firsts, 3 this year, 2 next year. Waddle, Hubbard, and then Chris Godwin. So you're not really competing, although you have some stars, but you definitely have some picks that you could, if you make the right moves. You'll probably need to get some quarterbacks with those picks to do anything.
Yeah, I don't have I have one quarterback, and I'm not looking to compete this year. I'll make that very clear. I think my guys are young enough to withstand 1 year. Hopefully, obviously, being safe from injury, and we're looking to contend in future years here.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a couple of those guys off you, like Waddle, Hubbard, from you here. after this.
I mean,
After this
are you saying there's a proposal out right now?
I'm saying there is a proposal out. You just
Okay,
have to
well,
look at it.
I'm stepping into my office, sir.
We got You Shall Not Pass here with a 74. Again, these are keep cut trade rankings. These aren't really our rankings. We didn't go through and like give them ratings or anything. But like again, Prowse is just that high because of picks. JoJo, another guy, really, I mean, he has 3 studs, and then he has a bunch of picks. So it's not like these guys are, by any means have all the best players or anything like that. So You Shall Not Pass as Jefferson, Burrow, Trey McBride, Amarian Hampton, Stroud, Lawrence. Pretty good roster construction here. Doesn't have his first, traded his first, and looks like he probably traded up to get Burrow or Jefferson or somebody like that with that. And then my team here, I got, like I said, I'm first in wide receivers because I have Lamb, Brian Thomas, obviously my first 2 picks, and then I took Drake May, was able to get Breece Hall, Devontae Smith. Still have my first for the next 2 years, and then a couple, solid receivers, DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall, then James Conner rounding out my running back room, or my top 2 running backs, and then Ken has the same rating as me with 69. Malik Neighbors, Patrick Mahomes, AJ Brown, Brock, Cam Ward. Nice little QB stable there. And then a bunch of middle round receivers: Addison, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Calvin Ridley. Only running back to mention really is David Montgomery. Doesn't really have the team that I'm looking for to compete, but he has the potential to maybe make some moves to get up there.
But did we just gloss over your team without any like retort from me over here? Like, what the heck?
Well, you want to talk about my team a little bit, or you just want to?
I mean, I felt like we were just talking about Steve and we went right to Ken, like. But
no, I mentioned my team a little bit.
I heard you just kind of glossed over a little bit. No, I mean, I just want to give you some props, man. You always build some strong rosters, and I mean, there's some holes here, at least some questions. Maybe not holes because DJ Moore's not a hole. It's just, maybe what's his future with Chicago? Do you think he's going to stay there longer, or do you think he's signed a contract, but I mean, just.
We'll see what they can get out of Rome this year. I think they're really,
right.
They're really going to, if Rome really comes into his own, is able to take that role, and then Burden also, you'll probably see, I would say in all likelihood, you'll see DJ Moore getting moved next offseason.
Okay, so you're on the same tip. Okay. Yep. And then last, before we go, I think James Conner and the Arizona Cardinals have probably one of the best running back schedules. If you pick James Conner in your top 12 in the mini game, I should say, I think you're pretty sharp, because I think he's going to have, if he obviously just assuming health, I mean that running back that first 4 games is just cupcake. I think you're going to have a nice little opportunity to even trade him if you want.
Yep. Yeah, I like my little team there. Like you said, I definitely make a couple of moves if I want to compete. I would say this is still a middle of the pack team. I don't think I need.
No, it's not perfect. No.
Yeah, I definitely make at least one move to get another QB, or another running back behind that.
Who's your other quarterback?
My other quarterback.
Yes, I see it right here. I know. I have your team up here. Yeah.
I have Stafford, and then I don't have anything after that. But my running backs, besides those 2, I have Pollard, and that's about it too.
Enough about you, Connor. Let's move on.
Obviously, my receivers that's where I want to look at. But Artful Dodger here, nice little team. I like that team quite a bit. Definitely is going to be competing most likely. Hurts, Herbert, Jackson Smith-Njigba, T. Higgins over here at wide receiver, Pickens rounding out that 3, then 2 studs redraft studs at Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry, and then Brian Robinson.
Dude, you know who he's also got? He's also got Bill Merritt, dude. He was savvy enough to pick him up early in late May, actually. I was like early in the offseason, but late May, for $0. He's also got Elijah Arroyo. He's got a couple other like late round little sleeper type rookies that can contribute. So savvy stuff from Artful Dodger.
Definitely, yeah. Nice. I like that team. Obviously, it's towards the top of the pack and competing. I would say a little bit older though, with almost a 28 average age. Jimbo's.
Are you big on the George Pickens breakout like I am?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right.
I think so. I have a lot of George Pickens this year, so hopefully. move on to Jimbo's Bimbos here before we get into some, nitty gritty trade stuff. Amon-Ra, Bo Nix, Saquon, Tet, pretty decent overall team. I think it's just missing a few pieces to really compete and has some middle tier pieces.
You know what he's missing? You know what he's missing, dude. Come on, look at his roster and his top 12 here. You know what is he missing?
I
It's
don't
Jimbo.
know.
No, it's Jimbo. Think about it. Tampa Bay Buccaneer players, guys.
He might, he's not. He doesn't have Mbuka up there. I'm surprised he hasn't.
Shocked, but you know what he does have? I look at the rest of his roster. He's got a little Rashad White, not Rashid. Sean, sorry.
He sprinkled a little Tampa
Sean
Bay.
Tucker as well. He's got Sean Tucker right there. Hey, I have a lot more Sean Tucker than I ever would think about owning, but he's also a candidate that could get moved to a running back needy team. He's shown he could pop 150 some odd yards in one random week last year. So
nice. So we got Daniel Payne here in 9th. Pretty middle of the pack team here. Drake London, Caleb Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Roma Dunze, Michael Penix. A bunch of, obviously traded all his picks away, looking to compete. Yeah. I think still probably needs to make a move or two. Really needs to round out probably his running back. No, his wide receiver room. He, depending on what Terry does, he only has 3 starting receivers to start the year. And Roma Dunze might not, get a lot of production, or he might, So I would probably try to shop Roma Dunze, get you a guy like T. Higgins or somebody that's, guaranteed to produce, or basically guaranteed to produce, something like that.
Or, I don't know. James Cook, man, it just scares me this year. Just the regression is one thing, but like the whole holdout narrative, people that hold out, it's just something that kind of is over their heads, it's like a dark cloud, anyway, if you will. So that's just my take. But still got a good team.
Definitely. Yeah. We got Billy B over here in 10th with the 60 overall rating. Puka, Marvin Harrison, Chase Brown, Kyler. Pretty decent team. 26 overall age, 26.3, and then pretty average overall, basically 8th, 9th, 5th, 6th. So just an overall just middle of the pack team almost everywhere. I don't mind that roster construction, but we'll actually have a little segment on Billy B here coming up. We actually have a move or two that we think he can make to improve his team.
Mm-hmm.
B Silver here is very top heavy with Chase, Collins, Achane, Bucky, Garrett, and then basically a bunch of middle players: Baker, Justin Fields, Devontae Adams. A team that can compete, but besides those names I mentioned, after that, it's like a 2027 second, and Evan Greengram and Rashad Shaheed.
Yeah, but we'll hear his name a little later too.
Yep, definitely. So nice little names there. Jamar Chase obviously is going, the top dog right now. Jaden Daniels are here for Greek Canuck or something like that.
Yep.
Who has his name as that he's paid, which is interesting.
We appreciate you paying your dues, sir.
Yeah. But he has basically a kind of a similar roster construction as B Silver. He's got top heavy Jaden Daniels, Ladd, Jordan Love, Kyron. Still has his first in 27. Jaden Reed, Michael Pittman are lower tier wide receivers.
And then it kind of just goes down,
Jake
Devontae,
Ferguson, Demario Douglas.
Well, Demar, I like Demar. I like Pop, and Ramonde's gonna. I hate to say it, man, but he's running well. He's running hard right now. All the stuff from camp that I've read, and this might be a decent 1-2 punch. And Ramondre might be a little pain and thorn in some Trey Hendo's sides here. I don't know if Trey Hendo will get all the work, man. Ramondre, if he keeps running hard and stays healthy, I think he's going to be at least definitely a valuable asset.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely could happen. That would suck for a couple of my my leads I just drafted, but
trust me, I'm one of them. But I mean, I'm just trying to read the tea leaves here, man.
Yeah. So what we want to do here before we move on too much from this league is we want to talk about a couple of these teams. I think it's Billy B. Who was the other team?
Cross or Cross?
Who was it?
Was it Cross?
Cross, maybe.
Because it was the Njoku, right? You still want to do the Njoku?
Yeah.
So it's Cross.
So Cross and Billy B. We'll look at their rosters just a little bit more. As we said, Billy B can compete. He just needs to make a couple more moves. This is his team right here where my wheel is.
Number 10.
Yep. So we'll pull up his actual whole team here on Sleeper. Has a couple of moves that we can make. Obviously, has not a glaring mistake or not a glaring hole here, but Kraft is a lower tier tight end if you're trying to compete. And then definitely needs a little bit more depth.
Receiver help.
Yeah, receiver help, especially with Ayuk out.
So what time? Because you have a lot of Ayuk too, and I talked to you about this, like not just pre-show, like I mean, it's like in like weeks ago even. When do you think he'll be back?
I'm hearing like late October. I'm thinking, probably like week 8 or so. I think week 7.
I'm thinking it's later, dude. Honestly, I'm thinking it's later. I know the reports though, like I've said that. I think they said like Shanahan even said shooting for week 6 or whatever, but I think it's going to be later.
How much later are you thinking?
I'm thinking November, dude.
November?
Uh-huh.
Like early November, like mid-November?
The pub sub bet that I made with Ken about Hawkinson.
Yeah.
They said week 8 last year for him, and it was after, because I think that was the bet. I was like after week 8 or before week 8.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a fair take. I mean, I have a lot of, Ayuk, especially like in best ball. I think that's where most of my shares of Ayuk are. Or Dynasty.
Well, this time it's not too bad because again, like if he comes back healthy, it's you have future.
I think most of my shares are of Ayuk are in Dynasty, so I'm not really too worried about his.
You're getting him at a suppressed price right now because of the injury, and so it's like if he does return to form, it's like you just got him. So like if we're gonna do this review of like the initial draft, like we did in the Smog, like you're gonna be like, yeah, look where I got Ayuk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but exactly. But yeah, we want to take a look at Kroos's team here because obviously he has a great team, but it's not really set to compete this year. He has a bunch of rookies, bunch of picks next year, and so we brought some names that we think that that Billy B can come over here and get where his holes are. So we want to bring up something. So we had Njoku here that we thought
Sam Darnold,
and then he needed a QB3, so we have Sam Darnold that we thought. So a couple of the players that we mentioned on Billy B's team, Keon Coleman. Who were the other ones? It was Keon Coleman and Tucker Kraft.
And a third.
So we thought about that,
guys. If you guys agree to that, just give us a little, just put the like and then make a comment. Say, hey, thanks guys for helping us make a deal. I mean, it also fits Cross's motivation, I think, because he's definitely setting up for future. He probably wants to get rid of some older vets. So Njoku and Sam Darnold fit that build. I kind of want to know, hey, Cross, do you know who Zach Wilson fan is, like personally? Because I feel like you guys make some similar builds in startup drafts.
So we wanted to come over here and just show you this. This is a trade calculator. It's not keep trade cuts that we both, have our critiques of. And obviously there's going to be critiques here too. So, we came over here and we have Njoku and we have Sam Darnold here. And then we were like, what does Billy B have to offer? And we were like, oh, well, he has Tucker Kraft, who's a little bit, middle tier, but young that, Kroos could have, or even a Keon Coleman. And we're like, maybe that's not that, even, or it's pretty even, but just to add a little bit more towards Kroos' side, get him a little pick here, maybe a wild card here. And we found out that was a fair trade. And we think that both sides really benefit from this. Obviously, Kroos gets rid of his, Sam Darnold, but I don't think neither of us are like projecting Sam Darnold to be like a guy for the next 3 to 5 years or anything. I think he's
just part of his vision because he's. I think it's not part of his vision really.
Yeah, exactly. That team's built not really to hold either of those guys, Njoku or Darnold. And we think that Billy B's is. But Billy B's, can send a couple of the younger guys and Kraft and Coleman over to Kraus that, gets a couple, stable guys that, could pop off. Obviously, Tucker Kraft is the tight end one over in Green Bay. We'll see what Keon Coleman can be, if he can be the wide receiver one over in Buffalo. And then you get another, lottery
ticket.
pick in the third. So I think that's a pretty fair deal for both sides. I would love to see this deal made actually in that league. I think that'd be cool to see that, we actually made something productive. So
question on, or not a question, but like a topic of discussion here. Like Connor, like trade calculators, they're obviously built, they're helpful tools for anyone. But like, how much stock do you put in that fair, or if it's like slightly off a little bit? I want to hear from you as like, if it's close enough, do you just accept? Are you really trying to get to that fair, or are you really trying to get like, hey, I want an edge, so I'm literally shooting for that edge? So I'm just want to hear from you on that.
So it honestly depends, like on the offer, on the league, on my team construction. All varies into my thought process on trading. Most of my initial offers come off of either I'm, slightly winning or it's fair, depending on what I need. If I think like, or who I'm dealing with, if I've dealt with them before and I know that they're, I know Sean, who was one of our contributors here, he loves to just shoot a huge deal that works down. I think it's called The Art of the Deal. Donald Trump, is famous for that, like just going above and beyond, and then you have to work them all the way back down. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that scares people off more so than does anything for dynasty trades. And
I don't know if him and I ever made a deal yet.
Yeah. But so I don't love doing that. I like to, depending on who I'm working with, I like to, maybe slightly win my side, and then we can, come back. And even if I lose, depending on what the actual in the calculator I lose, depending on what the actual deal is, I'm fine with. But if I love the player I'm giving away and I lose, I'm like, nah, I'll just pass on that. I'll, live to see another day with those players. I don't put tons of stock into the calculator because it's all subjective stuff.
It's just other people's thoughts, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I like whatever they put into their system and their algorithm. And
I like to put it in there just to see, like, a baseline of like, is that fair? Like, am I, are my thoughts correct, or am I just like outside of the box here? Like I might be really high on Tyler Warren, but the market is, I could go, if I was like a Tyler Warren hater, what would I, try to get, from him? Stuff like that. So I try to, use it as a baseline, but not,
or just to keep yourself in check, right? Because you might want to get like, oh, I'm flag planning on this guy. It's my guy, but like, or am I I'm being a little overzealous with it,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, on that. I'm more of the tip if it's close enough. Like I'm not gonna like, I need a fourth to make this work. I've run into some deals where like we were close and the guy wanted, like, just because it was slightly off and he wanted a fourth round pick. I said, dude, you know what? I'm good. I just, those things are just like those are turnoffs for me. So it's like, if, we're close to a deal and it's like, man, you want to penny pinch me, I'll make, sometimes I even said this to a couple people and DMs, like, look, I'll make this one concession, but don't expect this to happen again. Like, and maybe that come off blunt. I didn't mean it to come off blunt, but at the same time, it was like, dude, like, I don't know if I can be a reliable trade partner for you, or I can't rely on you, where it's like, look, we're close, but you're going to break. You can almost tear a deal down if you're literally going to want a fourth round pick and not be the deciding factor.
Yeah. I usually don't care about the things. If you want a fourth round pick, I'll give it to you for nothing. Fourth round picks to me are never anything. Same, almost,
I hear you. It's more of like the art of it, where it's like we spent so much time and you're like, I need that in order to make this go through. I'm like, man, come on. All right. Like, yeah, I'll make it. I there's deals where I've done it. It's just like, there's also times where it's like, this is pulling teeth,
Yeah. Another thing I like to do, and I've mentioned it before, especially on the main pod, I like to go in here, especially the power rankings, and look where everybody's at. So here I'm 10th and running back and receiver, or running back and quarterback. I'm like, who's, at the top at one of these positions, and try to go target guys. Like Scott obviously is first, so I might go target him for a quarterback. You're obviously first in running back, so I might come target you for running back. And just look at those teams, look at my holes, look where everybody else is strong, see what I can get out of everybody. And stuff might not come to fruition with that. I might be able to get a quarterback from JoJo, even though he's 12th, just because, he has an older guy on his team, like maybe a Geno Smith or somebody that I want.
No, but just dancing around the little.
Yep. But you never know what you can make. But just looking at these tools all over different websites, there's, we have the Ballsville website that has tons of different tools, but there's also keep, trade, cut that you can look at. To, you know, power rankings, trade calculator. I don't put any stock into keep, trade, cuts calculator, but I do like their power rankings here. Flock Fantasy, I do put into some stock into their trade calculator because of the way it works. It's not like in keep, trade, cut, you can put 42 different second round picks or 42 third round picks and go get Jaden Daniels, and that's just, I'm not a fan of that. But in the Flock Fantasy one, if you do that, it still shows up that, you know, the Jaden Daniels side wins. Stuff like that, you know, annoys me about the trade calculators, but I like to come look at these things. But I hope that was, you know, helpful for y'all. Hopefully that's a little bit different.
I also think that some people don't even realize that keep, trade, cut is a half-point PPR, and you can't change that setting. And it's like, you know, we're dealing with full PPR in a lot of these leagues, and I mean that's a small, minute thing, but still, it's like it's not the exact league setting. So if you're trading target hogs, and they may not count them the same way as someone who has more touchdown equity in that regard too.
Nice, yeah. So yeah, we'll just go into our prediction here. So me and you, I think, you know, had a little bit different of opinions on these teams, unlike what we did last time. But yeah, we'll let me share my screen right here.
There it is.
But yeah, so our teams are actually right here is D Payne versus Billy B, and then B Silver 88 versus You Shall Not Pass. So we'll go back over here, take a look at those teams. You Shall Not Pass was the team with Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, Trey McBride, and then Billy B was the team that we actually created a trade for. That I think if he makes that trade, he's you know, top contender in the league in my opinion. But he had Puka, Marvin Harrison, Chase Brown, Kyler Murray, Dak, and then we had him getting Njoku here at tight end instead of Kraft, and then we had him also getting who do we also have him getting? Sam Darnold to cover his quarterback spot, and then B Silver was one of the other names that we wanted to mention, which was your pick. He has, you know, nice stable at wide receiver, couple of, you know, studs at quarterback or point studs at quarterback in Baker Mayfield and Justin Fields. The potential of those guys, both top 12 upside without the cost that comes with them, and then a bunch of running backs that could produce. So.
I mean, yeah, you guys can kind of see where I'm playing my flag with the Nico. I mean, I love Devon Achane too. You know, Jamar Chase is the top dog. I think I picked the last team in the other league. I had Bucky Irving was on that team that I picked, and I don't have that many shares of Bucky Irving, but I mean, I still think that the guy can produce for you in fantasy. The big thing is Joe Mixon. I'm also scared of him, like this year. I don't know. They're being so hush-hush with that injury, and he's still not doing anything.
Yep.
This is kind of like, I don't know, not to the same degree, but it's kind of like Christian McCaffrey. It's like they're kind of thinking that things are fine, you know, but they're really like he's seeing specialists and this, that, and the third. And, you know, I don't know how much Joe Mixon's going to be playing, man. I literally have one share of Joe Mixon in my entire portfolio, and I'm in a number of leagues, guys, and I'm thinking if you're counting all of best ball, it's 3 digits. So one share of Joe Mixon. That scares me that much.
Nice. Yeah. I've shied away from him. I think I mentioned that on the last one, but or I actually mentioned that on the Guillotine pod. But Daniel Payne here, or D Payne here, was my pick for the championship game. Drake London, Caleb Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Rome Odunze. Like I said, I'll probably try to move him for T. Higgins or somebody like that. Try to get some guaranteed points. But overall has a pretty good roster. Might need to secure that running back 3 spot too. But Sharps could, you know, especially with the injury to Kenneth Walker, might be able to get you a lot of points. But
so Connor, before we leave though, dude, I think we can strike a deal on air.
You think we can strike a deal on air?
I'm just going to give you a counter right now on the spot. All right. So the proposal from Connor, everyone, is Jalen Waddle, Geno Smith, and Chuba for Jack Besh, T. Ferg, first and a second for next year. My counter is that we're moving Waddle, and we will remove on Wait, what did I have here? What did I have in here? I'm sorry. Move Waddle and T-Ferg, and we'll just go Jack Besh in the first and the second for Chuba and Gino.
See, that throws a wrench in my plans there. See, what I was thinking when I was talking about on air, when we were talking a little bit about our teams, is I noticed that you had Chris Godwin. So maybe you don't really need Chris Godwin on that team.
It's more of a personal thing because I know his cousin. So I love Chris Godwin.
So you definitely don't need him.
Hey, man, he's in for the long haul. I'm kind of thinking he's my veteran presence on a young team because you need a balance of vets and young guys, and he's like my veteran presence for as I'll
send you. I'll pick up Tim Tebow and I'll send you Tim Tebow, and you give me Chris Godwin, so you can have that locker room presence that you're talking about there.
The locker room presence, no, man.
It's what you're saying.
No,
you're saying,
he's a veteran presence that can produce when he gets healthy. Even
Yeah, but you don't really need him to produce if you're gonna wait on
next year. He's signed a 3-year deal.
So what I was on, we talked a little bit about it pre-pod, but we keep the deal what it is. I'll throw in the 27 first instead of the second, and you'll throw in Chris Godwin instead. Well, and not instead.
Oh man, So on top of Waddle, you're saying?
Yeah, on top of all that, you'll get 2 first.
I'm not doing both.
We'll see.
I'm doing both receivers.
Well, we're not going to reach a deal on air then.
Okay, we're not reaching a deal. Hey, we tried, guys. We tried. But see, this is the kind of back and forth though that it's respectable, man. Like I don't fault him for that, trying to shoot for it. But I'm gonna stick to my guns on not letting both receivers go. We may be able to get a deal done soon. Maybe not tonight because it is late for you, man. We might need to sign off just because I don't want you to just fall asleep on air. So if you want to wrap it up, I'll leave it on you.
Yeah, so sorry we couldn't come to a deal on our own here, but we definitely, hopefully, helped Billy B and Crows come to a deal on that, and I'll be tagging you all in the leads. Make sure if you're in 4 out of 16, you comment. Hopefully, we get that recorded sometime this week as well. Release that probably on Friday, and try to do 2 on from now on. I'll actually be gone for most of the week next week. We might be able to get 1 episode in next week, but I'm gonna be going on a little mini vacation, and then after that I'll be getting back, and then I'll actually leave for Vegas, which we're doing the Ballsville meetup. Get to see everybody, get to see Scott and Sean and Sarah and Jimbo and maybe Alex. I don't know if he's confirmed going or not, but definitely some names I want to actually meet in person. So maybe JoJo come slide and say hello to Sean. It sounds like has a pad for you, so there ain't no.
I met Sean twice now. I've been over there twice, so it's like Sean and I have definitely broke bread. Had a couple drinks. So we did the whole 9 anyway, and nice. Sean's good peoples, and but hey, calling all Cloud. I think it's Cloud is 4 of 16 on the Heroes side.
Yeah, and Bahamut or something. Bahamut is
I don't know. Hey, Alex, let me know if I'm butchering it up.
I'm ready to talk about that league because that's one of my favorite teams that I've ever built in that league. So I'm ready to talk about that one.
I will definitely not have you in my prediction then, just because of that
I have Brock Bowers. I have Brock Bowers. You're gonna have me there. So
okay, maybe you're right then. Okay.
Right. But yeah, that's one of my favorite teams I've ever built. I would like to show talk about that one a little bit, and then another team I built is an 8 out of 16. So just get ready for me to be a little bit egotistical about those teams because those are my favorite 2 Dynasty teams I own. But ready to talk about those.
Simmer you down here. Simmer down, sir. Simmer down.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Catch our next episode. If you are in 4 out of 16, let us know. If you're in 5 out of 16, let us know. Any of the leads, we will love to answer some questions. But
yeah, man, we'll literally take away a segment for questions. We will literally prioritize you guys. I want that to be very clear. Okay, very clear. So I hope you guys like this little layout that Connor put together on this episode. And yeah, man, we're looking forward to just diving into more of these leagues with you guys.
Definitely. So yeah, without further ado, that's a wrap on this episode. Catch you on next one. Later.